Pacific Steel, Favona Road, Otahu, and the last resting place of the only preserved Class DF 1501. Entering service in July 1954, DF 1501 was New Zealand's first mainline diesel-electric locomotive, designed for long-distance work. This locomotive was built at English Electric's Dick Kerr Works, Preston, and carried the maker's number 1927. With the KA building program completed in 1950, New Zealand Railways looked at their other forms of traction for the North Island main trunk. 31 1500 horsepower diesel-electric locomotives were originally sought, but the order was later amended to 10. The balance of 21 locos were replaced by an order for 42 750 horsepower DG class diesel-electric locomotives, with a wheel arrangement of 2 plus Coco plus 2. The DFs, with the real wheel arrangement, the DFs had light axle loadings and were able to work on secondary as well as main lines. For a very short time this class was classified DE, but the change to DF avoided confusion with the smaller 600 horsepower locomotives obtained in 1951. Another change involved their numbering. Originally numbered in the 1500 series, the DFs received the 1300 series numbers in November 1965, thus allowing the 1500 series numbers to be allocated to the new DAs. At first, DF 1501 worked express goods trains between Wellington and Auckland, and later, on occasion, the Summer Daylight Limited Express. Though she was displaced on the North Island main trunk by the Australian-built DAs, so the DFs were transferred to the North Auckland line in 1957. Then 2 years later, they moved to the Bay of Plenty, where long distances of light track were becoming increasingly busy. They worked there until 1975, when DF 1301 was withdrawn in May and replaced by members of the DB and DI classes. Number 1301 featured in several Railway Enthusiast Society excursions, the most outstanding being a return trip from Auckland to Tauranga in February 1972. Unfortunately, the English Electric V12 motor had some weaknesses which caused major breakdowns and led to the early retirement of these locomotives. Upon DF 1301's withdrawal, some people appealed for its preservation, and luckily it was finally placed on display on the plot vacated by K900 here at Pacific Steel, Otahu. It was put here in December 1975 and preserved as 1501. These pictures, there's also a notice board at Pacific Steel showing these pictures. This is the 1501 heading past Palmerston North, and with the Daylight Express in some unknown spot. And here running through Milton, I think they said it was. And on the, you would think they'd be on the roadside, but on the Pacific Steel side of the location, they have this diesel electric notice on the inside by the guardhouse. DFs 1307 and 1300 here descend the famous but now closed Athery Gorge line between Waihi and Pairoa. The specifications of the DGs was a 4-stroke V12 turbine-charged diesel engine. Her length was 61 feet 3 inches over the buffers, 8 foot 4 inches wide, and 11 foot 7 feet high, 11 foot 7 inches and a half inches high. 37-inch diameter traction wheels on her. Here she is passing Manga. The 750 horsepower jobs that replaced the cancelled DGs were these TFs rather, were these DGs and DH. 10 of the DGs had their adhesive weight increased to 48.35 tonne and traction effort increased, and these locos were classified DH to distinguish them from the unaltered DGs. I actually like the DFs and DGs. They're both the traditional flash diesel shape. The DGs, of course, have the cut-off end and were half the horsepower of the DHs. Half the horsepower of the DFs. Now the DHs were changed down in the South Island. The most were on the South Island, and they were upgraded and had this new front end put on them, and it looks bloody horrible compared to the original. The front cab was sliced off and this change was done to it.